Never seems like you're ready.
Wow.
That meant to hurt your feelings. I meant to hurt your feelings just then.
Wow. Check. We sound good?
Yeah, I guess.
I think my stuff popped out.
I hear you.
That's how you want to start a show. Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show with warts and all. #1 comedy business podcast in the world. Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with dick jokes. Pow. I'm your host, Lost Smith. Sitting to my right, your left in the tube is Eric Redinger.
Oh, what?
On the tube, baby.
He said tube.
On the tube.
I don't need a toupee.
On the tube, buddy. Well, that's up for debate.
I'm not going to wear it.
You should. I think that would be amazing.
That would be
just
hilarious,
for one episode, please. Okay. I'm going to give us our sponsors that help out the show, purport it up. But if you don't want to pay a little shekels to help the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend, loved one, coworker that's trying to get their own thing going, that needs some pragmatic business advice. Real talk. Professional real talk, bro. Tell them to listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, LinkedIn, and I won't be as mumble mouth as
I hope not,
intro.
man.
This is rough.
You're getting worse.
I just came out
Still love you,
of
though.
an intense online advertising session.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to anybody in 3 hours. This episode of Sweat Equity is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Try expressvpn.com/sweat like Keith Sweat. Get you 3 months free to browse the internet without anybody tracking you.
It's all fine.
3 months free.
Sure, it's fine.
Have an annual plan. Yeah, right, man. Big Brother's following you everywhere.
No, I mean, what they're looking at is fine.
I'm sure. Whatever. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm libertarian when it comes to that. Look at whatever you want, as long as it's not kiddie porn. Try expressvpn.com/sweat.
Went there.
Everybody's thinking it. Get 3 months free out of an annual plan.
What?
You're getting tracked by big data everywhere, man. You want to log into another country like Finland and watch The Office in Finnish? Try expressvpn.com/sweat. Get you that anonymized private virtual private network in the sky. Wow.
Good.
Try expressvpn.com/sweat like Keith Sweat. Get 3 months free. Let's get this show started. Howdy, Toddy!
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Playoff game. Last week, that was huge. And then winning this game or 3 weeks ago, I guess we won. And then this time it's been a long time since we've done well.
Did we figure out the guy on the Redskins whose first name or his last name is Sweat? What his first name is?
Marcus or Montez.
That's way better than Keith Sweat.
No one knows, but our DC fans, we don't have enough.
But I think it's funny.
He's not, but he's kind of an obscure.
I know.
Okay, I'll throw Montez in there.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. These younger dudes, they just like players. Well, I hate LeBron, so I've been through it with all these guys. They just follow LeBron everywhere. I'm like,
yeah.
Our generation, I hated players. These guys all like these kids. I go to little kids' houses. They have 7 jerseys. Like there's a bunch of Wyoming kids that had Chiefs hats and Allen jerseys. They're like, they just root for everybody. I was like, what are you, a girl? I get in trouble for saying that, but I know girls that did that with whichever dude they were dating. That's who their team was. I was like, what? Are you all right? You can't do that.
Do you want to, are we recording? Do we need to?
Yeah, we're recording.
Do you want to slap that out? I'm sure you don't care.
We can.
Oh, I don't care. You can leave it in whatever. I don't care. It's the truth.
What are you, a girl?
If anybody's jumping in right now, we cut out all the N-bombs you're doing before the stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'll get those out. Those are gone.
Yeah, that's how Colorado rolls these days, right? Now, but let me ask you this: like, why do you hate LeBron? You're the only person I've ever heard actually say that out loud.
Oh, because I was a Kobe guy. Well, I was a Jordan guy, so I shouldn't even be. I mean, growing up here, everybody was Jordan. The Nuggets stunk, and we were
Denver,
all.
Yeah.
Denver's very loyal to like Broncos, Avs, Rockies, kind of, but no one liked the Nuggets. So I was Jordan guy, and then I liked Kobe, and then I lived in Vegas at the time, and a lot of people in my circle out there were Ohio people, so they loved LeBron. So then that just made me, because we'd have these Kobe LeBron debates, and then I just hated LeBron. And I hate Ohio State football for that. But I just never liked LeBron. And it's just more fun to root against him. Like, I hate arguing with people. I was like, it's okay if you like him, but I don't like him because I don't want to root for every team. I like, now then Kobe retired, then I rooted for Steph just because I just don't want LeBron to win. So I'm sure he's a nice guy, he does all that stuff, but for me, it's more fun to root against him.
Sounds like you like a smooth player.
Yeah.
LeBron's kind of clunky.
Yeah, I was a point guard my whole life, and his game was never my game. I guess I've never liked centers. I've never thought of it like that, but that's a good point. I liked guys. I mean, that's why I liked Duke growing up, because they always had a small white point guard.
Yeah.
And then that made me believe.
Wojciechowski. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
By that logic, you love the Patriots for the last 20 years with the white.
Yeah.
We'll give you Scotty Miller of the Bucks too. That's new. Tom Brady's new white jet wide receiver.
Yeah, he's great.
Well,
I'm betting on him.
Oh yeah. So tell us where you're at with gambling. If anybody doesn't know Brandt's story that's listening,
did you say his actual full name?
Brandt Tobler.
Yes.
Well, they'll see it in the description.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how this goes. Yeah.
The 31 podcast is still rocking. You've got the book Free Roll. Any other stuff I'm missing to promote?
Nah, that's about it. I do my podcast Craigslist Chaos every week, which is everybody's favorite.
What's that?
When I spend a lot of time down in Florida, actually, I just get on Craigslist and go to different towns, and anybody dumb enough to put their phone number on Craigslist, I call them and try to get jobs or buy shit or join the Illuminati or get crazy.
And
so I love doing it because it's so much easier. You guys know how it is to get guests and get people to commit. So then I just created the show because there's always idiots on Craigslist. So whenever I'm feeling like lazy or if I get some inspiration, I just come down here to the studio, and Craigslist never lets me down. There's always a bunch of idiots that want to talk to me about anything and everything. A lot of lonely people on Craigslist. I don't know if you guys know that.
Check out
I've seen men seeking women a few times on there. I mean, just curious. I'm not looking.
Yeah.
Men seeking men.
Speaking of which, that time I called you, you hung up. I was like, oh wait, what happened?
Speaking of which, I love Denver. What part of Denver are you in?
I'm right downtown.
Yeah. Oh, I love me some Cheeseman Park. That's where all the gay dudes fucking the
yeah.
It's called Cheeseman Park.
Yeah.
Ew.
My best friend from college is from Denver, and his parents' house were across the street from Cheeseman Park, and we'd see dudes literally coming out of the bushes.
Literally coming.
No, not that. Not CUM, but like we.
Thanks for explaining the joke.
Well, we thought like, oh, cool, yeah, sure. There's a bunch of gay guys in the park doing it, and this is before Grindr.
Oh, sure.
Well, you forget that was like an old school thing everywhere. Like gays had to meet up.
Yeah, they had to have a spot
because it still had to be so closeted about it. That's gone by the wayside. No one's talking about that. Look, this is what the show. This show is breaking things like that. What is the deal? But like. We literally were like, no way, dude. You're just fucking being hyperbolic. And then literally as we're driving by, two dudes are like, like coming out of one guy might as well just been like, yeah.
Yeah, that's they call the King Supers over there the Queen Supers, because that's where all the gays go to get their groceries. So it's still there.
Oh man, well look, double income, no kids. I want to be a resident in that neighborhood for sure.
Yeah,
they'll spruce it up. They'll gentrify that shit.
The belle of the ball.
The cost of living's gone way up. It's a beautiful neighborhood, honestly.
So,
come a long ways.
So for the uninitiated of your backstory, you've got an insane sports gambling background. And what are you doing now gambling wise? I thought you kind of left that.
Yeah, you know what? I quit for a long time, and then during this pandemic, I got back into betting just on DraftKings. So now I'm betting every day because I have nothing else to do.
What's a tip without giving away the whole shebang?
Oh, what I do is futures. I really, which sucks because I'm rooting heavily against you guys this week, but
that's okay.
I think the money, if you want to make good money gambling, you should look at the futures, because DraftKings will let you parlay the futures. So I have everything. I like to parlay. As soon as the Super Bowl's over, I'll start parlaying stuff with next year's Super Bowl. So if you don't mind waiting it out, there's a lot of money to be made. So like I have a lot of money invested right now. I need the Chiefs I need Gonzaga. But my biggest bet is Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga is the best college basketball team, which you can still get at like plus 3.5 to 1. So I've been doing a lot of stuff like that, and now I have a bunch of futures. It's not as fun as old gambling because I tend to just play the favorites, but so I have a bunch of stuff tied to like Gonzaga, the Lakers, Chiefs. This week I've been tying a bunch of stuff to LeBron MVP and LaMelo Rookie of the Year. So it's just a different strategy. It's more of a long term, and my friends, I've done really good on it. Like I won 17,000 the last week of the season on divisional bets.
Ooh.
So if you have the patience, like right now you can bet the divisions in basketball. It's just a long term. So if you bet every division winner and then you tie it to Gonzaga, and then you tie it to like let's say the Dodgers, you could make a $20 bet that'd pay like let's say 8,000, and then if you get to that Dodgers, then they'll let you cash out for like 3,000, or you could let it ride. So that's I do a little different instead of just a daily game because betting every day is so hard because these line makers are so good. So they kind of sleep on the futures. So like right now, I think LeBron's really, as much as I just said I hate LeBron, he and I have so much money tied into the Lakers and LeBron. I think that's a way to make some money. So it's a long, boring example, but
no,
that's how I'm doing it.
That's the minutia, man. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, I'd never be able to wait that long. Mine's 3 minutes before kickoff. FanDuel, let's do it. Let's just whip it together. Maybe I'll win $9. Whatever.
Well, that seems to be the way. I mean, I just think of Sam Rothstein in Casino. It's just like it's very boring to be a good gambler. Like it's not the guys that are good at it. They're not like going nuts most of the time, right? I mean, you've really been in the scene, like in the higher roller kind of. These guys are thrown down. You're a runner.
The thing. When I worked for like some of the biggest gamblers in the world, and that was the thing they taught. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And to be good at gambling, you need to win like 58 to 60% over the year. No one comes in and just it's like, I mean, you can come in and get lucky like the lottery, but if you're actually gambling every day, 95%, probably 98% of people lose. Just because, like you said, if you don't have the patience. I try to get my neighbor on it every day. He's like, I can't wait till the end of the season and bet the Lakers. I'm like, you're a Lakers fan. You're going to be rooting for the Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
You might as well bet it. And it's not as bad because, so I have a ticket, right? I have one of my tickets. I bet $25 on a parlay with Gonzaga and the Lakers and like 8 other games. You could throw in a bunch of money lines, but that it's $25 ticket that pays $27,000. So, yeah, it sucks to have to wait it out, but it's fun to wake up every morning and go, oh, shit, if I can get past this Gonzaga, I'm going to have the Lakers for $27,000, and they're going to probably be like $1.80 favorite, and then I can hedge back or I can make money. It's not as glamorous as winning like a big parlay that day, but to me, it's what I advise people to do is if you're going to make a 5-16 parlay, just throw LeBron on right now while he's plus 6 to 1. Your $180 parlay, pay $1,800, and then that'll at least save you from blowing that money. You can sweat it out till the end of the season or something. So it's a different strategy, but it's worked well for me.
So you do what they call anchoring, right? Like you'll find the lead horse parlay around that or tethering. I can't remember what the term is, but
I'm impressed.
Huh?
So exactly.
I'm impressed you do that.
I listen to Bill Simmons and Cousin Sal every Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I do. So now that I have so much on Gonzaga, then I watched enough and I was like, okay, Baylor could be. So then I picked up some Baylor. I picked up some Michigan, with still Gonzaga being the best. But you have to have a little bit of a bankroll, and then I bet individual games. I bet 50 or 100 on a game as I'm watching, and then I put like 50 of that back in the bankroll to keep betting daily games, then put 50 in the future. It's not that calculated, but that's kind of what I do. If I win a couple games, then I go in and bet some more futures because, that's what's kept me to win 17,000 that weekend. That'll keep me afloat for a long time, even if I go on a bad stretch. But it's just the patience. Like I think the second the Super Bowl loses, let's say Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay is 11 to 1 next year. So if you don't mind betting it, I'm already starting to get some of that. And the Chiefs are like 5.5. So it's just it's better for me because then I just have money I can wait. I can't lose that money.
Well, yeah, and Tom Brady, I think whether win or lose, he'll probably come back.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He had a
He's coming
2-year.
back for sure.
At least 1 year.
Well, there's an option of retirement out there. I mean, you could do that.
I know,
that
but
could happen. But
He could, I mean, but I'd be shocked. I wish they put that. If they put that bet up, I would bet for sure he'll be back.
he
He's
said
too good.
45. I
Yeah.
heard that when he was like 38. He's like, I'm gonna play till I'm 45. I was like, yeah, okay. He's right on track.
I was about to say I wouldn't believe anybody saying anything like that except for him,
Right?
Because
Yeah,
he was like,
oh shit, okay.
we were saying it on Sunday. He's kind of like got Asperger's for football. Like he's like that's the only thing I've ever heard him talk about ever in any interview. Is like you don't see him in commercials pimping anything.
Right, that's
you
true.
don't see him on like any late night shows or any of that. He's not doing any of the stuff that a lot
He's
of
got a sugar mama. He doesn't need any of that.
I know, but you think ego would get there or something, or you're hedging your bets in case. Well, I guess he probably signed a prenup, but you know what I'm
I
saying.
mean, he got beat down by Belichick for all those years. You know,
He just goes, this is what I am. This is all I am. This is what I focus on. I don't give a shit about anything else. And when he's like, when we're down in some of these games, that I'm like, that Bears game was like, oh no. Remember when he forgot it was fourth down or whatever? I was like, oh no,
he's getting senile.
The magic's gone. Remember that whole thing? And it just fucking that washed away because he just he looks like
that was a turning point.
He looks like Cro-Magnon man. Like his eyebrow furrows like all the way down. And he's like, we're gonna fucking win this. And you're like, I believe him. I want him to be a politician.
Yeah. Well, they changed the rules so much that you can't really hit the quarterback. So he'll play till his arm strength is gone, and they question his arm strength. But like that throw he had right before halftime to Scotty Miller was incredible. I mean, that's 48 yards on the money. So I think I like you said, I think he'll play till he's 45 if he wants, unless some freak accident. But he doesn't take any hits or anything. Like
he has say in who they draft and who they get in free agency. That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
So our draft pick Tristan Wirfs, I think, has only given away 1 sack. And
he's been great.
He started all 16 games. That's right tackle, but still awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, nowadays you don't get a pick when you retire. You just Peyton didn't want to go. He just stunk, and like I don't think Breeze wants to retire. They make the decision for you, and Tom was good enough this year. They're not going to make that decision, but I don't think Breeze wants to go. But the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's like he just got to go, man. He's just done. And we went through it out here with Peyton. Shit, we loved Peyton. We would have watched him play till he was 80, but he just couldn't cut it anymore. So, but Tom, his last 6-7 weeks has been incredible. He's top 3 quarterback in the world.
7 game winning streak. But I want to ask you. I'll give a little backstory, but we really wanted you to come on to teach us how we can sneak into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be the title of the episode, How to Sneak in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Probably giving away the worst part. If anybody picked that up, was like, all right, we'll just put these guys' faces on our camera.
I know. Well, they're definitely going to try.
But
idiots.
The way you and I met is so wild. I think it's interesting. So I heard you, I think, on Bert Kreischer's podcast, Bertcast, like 2013, the end of 2013. 2014, the national championship game between Auburn and FSU. I'm sitting next to one of my best friends, Brendan T. Gleason, that was still doing stand-up at the time. I guess played in the Comedy Store for the Comedy Store team, basketball league. And I just told him, I was like, have you heard of this Brandt Tobler guy? He's got stories that are fucking amazing. And he's like, yeah, I play in the league with him, so I see him like every week. And so I was like, oh, not at the shows? Okay. Because he quit. But he's not going to listen to this because he doesn't like podcasts. But
that's what he tells you.
Let's talk shit about him. No, but
we can.
As I've talked about it that day, and then he's like, "Oh, Brandt's coming up here," and as we're waiting for the kickoff, and you sat next to us in between us the whole game, and you and I were like, "I told you," I was like, "I heard your whole story. It's amazing, all that stuff," and you'll have to kind of retell some of the stories of what you snuck into. But I remember for 3.5 quarters being very excited with you, and almost being sad for our friend Brendan because Auburn was kicking the shit out of him, and then had the biggest fucking life pick 6 in my life of just FSU coming back and Kelvin Benjamin and his great cheekbones fucking scoring that last touchdown. I was like, are you fucking It was the most absurd fourth quarter loss. But I remember that being the fact that you could find a seat in the bleacher seats of the Rose Bowl and just squeeze your buns in to find. We stood up the whole time, but to be able to squeeze in and just not have a seat was funny to me.
Yeah, that was the coolest part, honestly, is because I snuck in, and then sneaking in, that's half the battle. Then you're in, but then you got to figure out where you're going to watch the game from. So the fact that once I got in, you guys we actually have one seat, and to sit with you guys, which was awesome because you were rooting for different teams, and it was and just an incredible game. It was it's one of the best sporting events I've ever been to, and the fact I snuck in made it so much better because I remember you guys saying, I think I had to buy you guys some beers because you guys were like, we spent a lot of money on these tickets. And I was like,
yep.
I just cruised right in the back gate. But yeah, sneaking in is something I got good at over time. Well, I mean, part of it, I mean, the first piece of advice I tell you guys is just go for it. It's a harmless crime. There's really no risk. People ask me about, are you scared you're getting in trouble? There's no real trouble. Like, I've been caught trying to sneak in, and they'll just say, hey, you can't be here, you can't go here. And then you just go to the other side of the stadium and try mistakes. So I've never felt like, I mean, I got stopped sneaking into the national championship game in Phoenix, and I talked to the cops. And if you just talk, you can talk your way out of anything. First of all, what are they going to do? They don't want it. That's like overtime pay for the cops. It's just an easy day for them. They don't want to go and
they don't want to do paperwork on that.
Yeah. So I get more credit for it than I really deserve because it's not like robbing a bank or something where there's actually a risk. But you just got to get that mindset of like, all they're going to do, it could be like a little embarrassing, but not even that because no one's really paying attention. So once you figure that out, it's just all going for it. Now the Super Bowl is the one thing I've never snuck into, and I went to.
I thought you snuck into the Broncos Seattle one.
No, I had a ticket for that, and it's funny because I watched the whole thing. I talked about doing it, and then last minute I got a free ticket, which is another miracle story. But I watched the whole process of it, and the Super Bowl's harder because there's different checkpoints. But again, you got to remember you're dealing with people. They don't really give a shit. It's a shit job, the security. It's like a $10, $12 job. They're not going to, I mean, there's a couple that want to be a hero, but most of the time, they're just going to, you can out-talk them or just, what I always do is if I get to a spot and then let's say you guys stop me, I'd say, okay, hold on. I got the wrong ticket. The phone tickets is the key. It helps much. Because in the old days, if I try to sneak in, I don't have a ticket. There's no wiggle room on it. But with technology, countless times now I sneak into Bronco games every week. It's the easiest thing in the world because I can just have someone send me a ticket out. And then when I get up to the thing, I'm like, hey, here's my ticket. And half the time they'll zap it. And then they don't have time to mess with you to hear your 20-minute story when they're trying to get people in, push you to the side or whatever. So the fact on the phone helps so much because then you do have a loophole. Say, hey, I bought this. And they say, well, I don't know what to do. I say, what are you talking about? I paid $3,500 for this ticket. It was sent to me. Here's the Ticketmaster thing, and then again, you're dealing with somebody who's maybe making $15 an hour and has the responsibility to get people through. So you can just kind of bullshit your way through that. But I didn't do the Super Bowl, but I think it's doable. Are you guys both going to try to do it?
I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Absolutely not.
I'm so bad at doing stuff like this, but I can work myself up to doing it.
Well, here's the thing. It's a tough spot for you because you want to sometimes sneaking in, it takes a while, and you don't want to miss your team playing the game. So I like to sneak into stuff I don't care about as much. So that's the one. If I could tell you one thing if I could say one thing why you don't want to do it, is you don't want to be still messing with that shit mid-first quarter and you hear people in there having fun and let's say Tampa scores early and you're like,
yeah, we'll be in the back of a cop car. We'll be the ones that get caught. We hear the Bucks win the Super Bowl and it's amazing and we're stuck.
So how far are you from the stadium?
I could literally, I could get there. It's within 2 miles of my place.
So then you have what I would do is I would go for it early because they'll open up the stadium early for the Super Bowl.
Right.
I want to say 4 hours. Or if you one time when I was in Phoenix, I wanted to sneak. This one have got me in trouble probably, but I wanted to sneak in the night before and then just try to sleep in there and just ride it out.
Next level.
That's the Say by the Bell U2 ticket episode.
Yeah. And
Try
that's
to
how you
live
go
there.
like viral, and it'd be good for the podcast and everything. Again, all this is just good content. I have to explain to my girlfriend a lot when I go for shit like this. She's like, I'm just making content that'll help me on stage, on the podcast, and on if I get a $200 ticket, who cares?
Business expense.
Baby, banging runaways on the road, that's just content, okay?
Good content.
It's not. I'm not cheating on you. This is a story.
Well, she hates that content. She prefers sneaking into stadiums instead of sneaking into pussy.
There you go.
A different argument.
Throw that back.
But yeah, I think, again, and what I always tell people, if you wear the laminate's key to wear to sneak into. Now, Super Bowl's a little different, but for me to sneak into the basketball arena here, as long as I wear a laminate, you have to remember those people that work there. Every single day, it's a different laminate. Some nights it's hockey, some nights it's basketball, some nights it's Rihanna, some nights it's Counting Crows, some nights it's Disney on Ice. So they're just trained to see people have something hanging that they're just in their mind. They're like, oh, that person, if you just go where you're supposed to go. And now with masks and stuff, I think you could do it. I haven't snuck in anything during the pandemic, but I think it might be easier with that too, because.
But there's a smaller crowd. There's not as much bustle.
You don't want to get near people. But if you don't care, if you don't really have a conscience, you just get a ticket on your phone. You go to the front. When they question you on it, you say, I'm a health worker. I was given this ticket. I don't know. You just play dumb as shit. Because I think they're giving like 7,000 tickets to health workers.
Yep.
Yeah. You'd have to be a real asshole to not let a health worker into the Super Bowl who's been working in hospitals these last 10 months and be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I work at so-and-so hospital. I was sent this ticket. You write up a fake email.
I've got the vaccine.
That says, thank you for your service. You could do that with the NFL. We're so happy. We can't thank you enough for what you've done. Here's a ticket. And then you just sit there and go, this is a ticket I have. This is what was sent to me. I don't know. I've been working for 10 months trying to save people's lives and trying to go to the Super Bowl. Why are you yelling at me? If I was a ticket guy, I'd be like, oh, yeah, my bad. Just go right in.
I got vaccinated in January. That's the big stipulation. You had to have both of them done by a certain time.
How did you?
Yeah.
Never mind.
So you could play that card.
Because I sent that once that email came in or that announcement came in, I just sent it to all my friends that are in that sector over here. I was like, nurse friends of mine. I was like, you should see if you can get in. And then all of them got back to me like, I haven't gotten the vaccine yet. That like by the cutoff time.
Huh.
I don't know why it was like late. It was like it has to be by January 20th. You have to have both of them done.
To go into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the healthcare worker allotment of tickets.
I see.
Well, and I just realized this too. I know a comedian going that has snuck in I snuck into a game with him live on Facebook, a very funny comedian, Mike Turner out of Phoenix.
Really?
He's going to the game. So if anything, I can have him, I had to ask him if it's a ticket on his phone, but I could always have him. He's a down ass dude and he loves the story and content and he knows all about it. So if anything, I could have him get in and send it out to you. And then,
dude, that would be amazing. If you got that,
shot.
I can't even think of anybody I know that's going. That's what's crazy is like, because it's 15K non-healthcare worker allotment of tickets. A lot of the hookups I have, like local corporate wise or whatever, they're not paying the 4 times the amount that it's already expensive to get. Like none of that shit I got no juice on this game. So
it's tough. I mean, Super Bowl's always tough, but even then, especially in the hometown, and I. As a Bronco fan, I know people when it came, they spent their life savings. People realized I'm spending this money this time. And I always advise people do it, man. Your team may never, if you're like a Dolphins fan or something, you may never get back to the Super Bowl again. You see Marino that one time. You think, oh, Marino will be here every year. You never know. So, I mean, I'm glad I got to go to the Super Bowl, even though it was the worst game of my life and the Broncos got destroyed from the very first second. But yes, I mean,
well, marketing wise, you always purchase with your emotion. And so just like you're talking about with gambling, you definitely have that thing of like, you got to be slow. You got to be boring. That's what I kind of tell myself. Like, if you think you're going to talk yourself into impulsively buying a $9,000 ticket, like
you're already defeated.
In my head, I'm like,
you're talking yourself into impulsively doing something.
No,
That's
in my
not
head,
how
I was
impulse
like,
works.
But I was in my head like, I wonder if I can make this work. You're like, no, this is dumb.
You should try.
Here's how it happens.
I'll try to sneak in if we can get the ticket hookup for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Here's how it happens. Your team wins the NFC Championship or AFC Championship. You're all drunk, and that's when people buy that ticket. Like,
right. I was looking at tickets immediately.
Yeah, my bank would be.
When's it gonna happen? It's never gonna happen again.
Yeah,
probably won't.
Team? I kind of wish. Speaking of futures bets, what's this ticket site where you can buy it? You can basically buy.
PropSwap?
What's it?
I think it's PropSwap or ProSwap.
Well, I was thinking, what's the one? Is that the one where you can kind of hedge? Like you could pay, let's say, beginning of the playoffs, you could pay $1,000. That the Bucks get there, you'll have a ticket, like guaranteed, or something like that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think that's Vivid
actual
Seats.
tickets. That'd be cool.
I think that's how I did that national championship. Honestly, it was like
Oh, that's crazy. They got all these losers.
So it's hedging.
Dolphins fan,
right?
But yeah,
I remember that. I don't know if that's still around, but I do remember you saying that, which was a cool idea. But
it just kicked in my head just because we're talking, probably. But it's like it's one of those. I was like, that's a fucking really smart site.
That's a weird math problem because it's like the good teams are going to have that many more people buying tickets, contributing to that money, whereas the shitty teams aren't going to be able to because they still got to buy those tickets. They're still spending the $9,000.
And then it depends on distance of the game from where the fan base is. So if it was Seattle all the way to Tampa kind of thing, even though
that might be more of a college football thing, though.
Yeah,
could be. If Alabama bought a bunch of Rose Bowl tickets and then they lost, or I think I can see that.
You have to put in the fact that Alabama's won so much that their fans are like, nah.
Yeah, or like Ohio State, you just buy the Big 12. You just assume every year you're going to be there. With football, that's harder because I'm sure you guys at the start of the season were hopeful, like, oh, we could make a run, but you never know.
Oh no, we're like we're like Woody Allen, like just like this team's not very good. Like we have such low self-esteem. Like the Brady thing really geeked it up, but everybody's talking you out of it. And
if the Chiefs didn't kick the shit out of us earlier this year, where it was like the first quarter was absurd,
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I'll tell you this: the best day of my life. Broncos were like 12-point underdogs in Green Bay. I mean, against Green Bay, and everybody. I remember
Terrell Davis.
After losing 3 Super Bowls as a kid, crying. And I remember going to my buddy's Super Bowl party, thinking everybody telling us that the Broncos can't win and we're going to lose another Super Bowl. And needless to say, best day of my life. So we were like 12.
I remember that one.
And you got the best quarterback of all time. So
look, I'm still optimistic, and I watch every game, even when we're terrible.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a diehard Bucks fan, even though I know I could probably spend my time doing other stuff more important. But I don't. But now I have an excuse because I have kids and they're into it a little bit. So I'm like, yeah, they love it too because Dad gets excited at the TV. But I feel like you got to have some dumb things you're into rooting wise as an adult or a dumb hobby, like whatever.
It's not dumb.
A little bit.
It's a little dumb, but it's not that dumb.
Right.
That's the best thing. I explained to my girlfriend the other day, and I have a great girlfriend. We rarely fight, but she wanted to do something on Sunday, like before the games. I said, "Hey, I'll do whatever you want."
She just walked in the room. I have a great girlfriend.
Sundays, just leave me alone. When you hear the guy on Red Zone go 7 hours of commercial-free football, that means 7 hours of leave me alone. And the next day, we could do anything you want, Monday through Saturday. But for these 20 weeks on Sundays, all I ask is just let me have my Sundays, and we can pick apples and go to plays, and I can do anything you want. And she's great about it. She realized, oh, okay. But she didn't realize how important last Sunday was because there's only 2 games. I was like, oh no, this is like the most important Sunday.
Yeah,
we gotta watch these games. No brunch today. We'll do brunch any other day. Next Sunday, there's nothing.
Well, you're on Mountain Time. You can't get that brunch in for that.
Yeah, I said we can't do it. No, this Sunday, all the brunch you want.
Well,
the following Sunday, not so much.
Hey, we try to keep these about 33 minutes. So I want to make sure we ask the question that we didn't ask you the first time, but we're trying to. If we have any repeat guests, we're asking them. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self? Could be anything.
Well, it would be there's nothing to be afraid of. Like, if I had a kid, I would say, here's my advice: don't get a DUI, don't get someone pregnant, and don't smoke cigarettes. Anything else we can fix. And that cigarette thing is just something I hate because I've never smoked a cigarette. I think it's gross. But I mean, it's just such generic advice at 13. I mean, I could tell myself a million things.
Here's how it works. You get in like a Bill and Ted's phone booth to go back in time to go talk to yourself at 13, and you get to grab yourself by the collars and just give some advice, and then you're gone.
I would say start trying to fuck chicks because I was a late bloomer on that, like 18. I would say quit shooting free throws. Take theater classes. It's not gay. It's going to help you one day if you want to be a stand-up comedian. Quit shooting three-pointers. Learn piano or golf. Because my whole life I thought I was going to the NBA, so I spent my whole childhood just playing basketball every single day. So I got
ain't nothing wrong with that.
As good as you can get for a 5'11" guy in Wyoming. But no, I don't know. Like, to be honest, in a weird way, it's another generic answer is like, I played all that basketball, and then when I got to Vegas, I met those guys, and the reason I got that job gambling was because I was good at basketball, and then the reason I became a comedian is because I was gambling, and then the reason I got on Comedy Central is because my dad stole my money. I tried to kill my dad, so there's like all this stuff that it traces back to.
Yeah, you need to go on YouTube and look up This Is Not Happening. Brandt Tobler's got the best story out of all of them that I've seen.
Yep, for
Trying to kill his dad. Yeah. I was watching it. I watched it yesterday. Yeah, I've seen it a bunch.
I'm so proud of it.
It's so great.
It's the maybe how about this would be the advice. You go back and go, hey, maybe not so many free throws, and maybe we'll throw a little Spanish lessons in there. Something like that.
Yeah. Anything be a little more diverse.
In addition to what you were already doing. Because, I feel the same thing. Butterfly effect if this didn't happen, these bad things didn't happen, I might not get to the things that I'm proud of now kind of thing. So
and I had a good I loved school and junior high and stuff. So I know some people would probably be like, actually, you had so much fun at school. Like I think that was like comedy wise, I got to go there and kind of perform and be funny and play basketball, and so I actually had a good childhood, which I know you're not supposed to say as a comedian, but I had it pretty sweet.
Yeah, maybe you had it bad in the back nine a little bit.
Yeah.
According to that story, but yeah.
The front nine and back. Yeah, 0 to 5 and like.
That's kind of how I look at it. Mom's got the first 9, Dad's got the back 9. As far as like when they really need to be on top of shit.
Yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, I don't know.
That's just delaying me parenting.
Oh, I didn't know. I was like, whose mom are you talking about?
Just in general.
All right.
Yeah. Because what you need dad around in those high school years is what in the middle school, high school years, or else it's wild. But thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Good luck with this. I hope if I can help you in any way. Like I said, if you want to go for it, I'll reach out to Mike and try to connect you guys. And he's a cool dude. I'm sure he'll be willing to help. And if I was you, I would go for it early and tell the family and friends, hey, I'm going to go for it. It'll generate a little excitement around the house, and then say it's kind of a long shot. So if not, I'll come back and because there's no place you'd rather be than with the important people when your team wins it.
Worst case scenario, could probably get to Eric's party at his house by halftime, And that'd be maybe worth it. Part. Hey, man, I've been around when we won the first one, Super Bowl we were in.
Oh, yeah, you already won one. So, yeah, then you could go for it. That first one when winning that first one to me, I haven't been married or have kids, but I mean, maybe it just shows how sad I am in life, but that's still probably the best day of my life. I mean, it was a day as a diehard fan, especially losing the first 3 as a kid. Like, I'll never forget that day. I get chills. They played it yesterday, was like the anniversary, and I'll tear up every time Elway does that little helicopter, and I could hear the announcer. Oh, yeah. Still one of the best days of my life. So either way, man, I'm rooting for you guys. Have fun. If I could help you, let me know, and if not, just enjoy the day.
For sure. I'll hit you up later, buddy.
Yeah, let me know. Thanks again for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on.
All right, anytime. See you guys.
See you.